Hello. Just trying not to have a lot of videos. So many videos out there, and I want to talk about Israelites a little bit. I don't know how this video gonna go because I've been adjusting my cameras different kind of ways, and I hope it's okay. Israelites. You wonder what? How come all of a sudden you're an Israelite now, man? You know, my brother asked me that when I went to Liberia a few years ago, a couple of years ago. Is it all of a sudden you're an Israelite? You know, how come you want to Denmark all of a sudden you're an Israelite, man? Tell me you gotta make your own research, you know. I'm not here to go through all these details about how the Israelites got into West Africa, you know. A lot of detailed history, you know what I'm saying, in the year 70 AD. In the year 70 AD, you know what I'm saying, the Romans waged war on the Israelites, you know, the ancient Hebrew Israelites, and they fled to West Africa, right? Some of them went to South Africa and North Africa, but the majority of them went to West Africa, and Liberia was one of those West African countries that they happened to settle, right? You know, this was way before the transatlantic slave trade began. You know what I'm saying? We all know that the settlers that came to Liberia as conquered people or American Liberians was the black Americans that went back to Liberia, right? They are also Israelites, but there are also remnants of Israelites that weren't taken as slaves into the Caribbean and North America, wherever, you know. Before then, there were remnants of. You cannot generalize that all Liberians are Israelites. You know, you can't generalize. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's kind of a confused scenario because we have the black Americans mixed with Aboriginals. So I'm saying, you know, you're saying, okay, they're saying that those that were taken into slavery into America, they're all Israelites, you know. So what's about those that, you can't tell me that they were all, the Israelites that were settled down in Liberia, they were all taken into slavery. You can't come to that conclusion. You know what I'm saying? But on the most part, it was those that were taken into slavery, and some of them came back as settlers, you know, as free slaves to Liberia, right? You know, and so in the year 70 80s, they fled and went into different parts of Africa, like Ghana and Senegal, and Malay, you know, you name it, Liberia, you name it, you know. And so, actually, your nationality is determined by your daddy's or your father's nationality. You know what I'm saying? So, if your father, let's say I'm saying, you know, I was born in Liberia, right? So, if my daddy is from Liberia and my mom was from Ghana, then I'm a Liberian. I'm not no Ghanaian, you know what I'm saying? Even though I was raised with my mom and I speak a language very well compared to my dad, but I'm my dad's nationality. So I made my research and I figured that, you know, my daddy's parents, you know, you go way back in the years way back before the transatlantic slave began, you know what I'm saying? It was my daddy's parents that migrated from Israel and I went to Liberia, you know what I'm saying? It's not my mommy's It's not my mommy's. I don't know about mommy. My mommy's. I don't know if she's an indigenous Liberian or she also migrated from Israel. I have no idea, but your daddy's nationality is your nationality. You know what I'm saying? All of my siblings are basically Israelites. You know what I'm saying? Unless let's say now, okay, some of my sisters are married to different people. Like my sister, you know, my elder sister, Lucy's children are not Israelites. Some of them are not Israelites because the majority of them fathers came from Lebanon, and the Lebanons are not Israelites. They're not Israelite at all, you know what I'm saying? Even though, you know, my sister could be an Israelite, but I'm just saying it is your daddy's seed that determines your nationality, you know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, I don't want to go into that. And like my brothers, all of my brothers' children are all Israelites because, like I said, it is your daddy's seed or your daddy's nationality that determines your nationality. You know what I'm saying? It's a confused thing. You know what I'm saying? So I did not just come up with the idea that I'm an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? I'm going by my daddy's nationality. You know. If you study the Liberian history, you know, we have the Israelites tradition in Liberia, you know what I'm saying? We call God Yahweh. Yahweh is the Hebrew name for God, you know what I'm saying? And we use that in our language or dialect in Liberia, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about other languages, but in Guilt, Amano, which is my daddy's tribe, we call God Yahweh, you know, and that's a Hebrew name. So we brought that tradition. Well, they brought that tradition with them in Liberia, you know, and circumcision, for instance, is a Hebrew tradition, you know what I'm saying, as well as blowing the horn, you know, or you know, weaning the child when the child is about 7 years, or if it's no. How old a child should be to be weaned. But however, man, make your research, you know. So I did not just come up with, you know, me being an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? It had to go way back to my daddy's generation or whatever, you know, nationality. See, I'm thinking my mommy also derived from Israel because on the mother's side, you know, the tradition, you know, I kind of realized that Guilt or Dan, you know, the word, the tribe Dan is an Israelite tribe, you know what I'm saying? But it's been cut off from the 12 tribes now because of their disobedience to the Lord, you know, to the Almighty and whatever, you know. But however, whether my mom is an Israelite or not an Israelite, it is my daddy's nationality that I go by. So, you know what I'm saying? So there you have, make your research, you know what I'm saying? I did not just come up with the idea that I'm an Israelite. I'll make your research, you know. Hebrew Israelite. Because ain't nothing called black Hebrew or white Hebrews. You know, like I said, those that are in a land called Israel now, they're not Israelites, you know what I'm saying? They're not the real authentic Israelites, you know what I'm saying? They came from Europe. They're called Zionists, you know what I'm saying? And so they're called fake Jews, you know what I'm saying? Even some of them are, you know, coming to the light that, you know, they tell us the truth that, you know, they're not a real Israelite, but black are the real Israelites, and not all blacks are Israelites either, you know what I'm saying? Those are, you know, the Egyptians, for instance, the ancient Egyptians who were also black. Like the Israelites are not Israelites, you know what I'm saying? And the Ethiopians and Somalians and all that eastern coast are not Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The Israelites are meaning from Ghana and Sierra Leone and Liberia, you know, if you know the history of Sierra Leone, you know what I'm saying? Also some of the free slaves also went to Sierra Leone, you know what I'm saying, for Britain. So it's a complex thing, you know. See, I do not write my notes. I do not write anything down to look at it. I just talk up in the air. That's it. That's it. I can tell you about, you know, the different tribes. It kind of puzzled me that we had a lot of Mandingos in Liberia, and the Mandingos are also Israelites, you know what I'm saying? I just came to realize that, you know, a couple of days ago, I didn't even know. Because it wouldn't be surprising, because the lifestyle, you know, the way they dress, and, you know, they are basically a marketer, you know, they like to sell stuff, and those are some of the characteristics or attributes of Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Mandingos are also Israelite, but they don't know, you know what I'm saying? You know, thinking that some of them are from Guinea or you know, Gambia, whatever. Those are the Mandingos that are in Gambia are also Israelites, you know. So there you have it. Gotta make your research, man. You know, if you don't know where you come from, you basically don't know where you're going. You know. Yes. What else? Like my daughters, like my children, you know, let's say that my daughter, even though their mom is Danish, but they're Israelites. They're Israelites because, like I said, it's dad's nationality that they go by, you know what I'm saying? But if my kid get married now, if they get married to another man who is not an Israelite, that would mean that, you know, they're gonna have that daddy's nationality, you know what I'm saying? If they marry someone from let's say Denmark or even some other East African countries, their children ain't gonna be Israelites because it is their daddy's nationality, right? Yeah. And so my voice is kind of down. I didn't do my voice practices. I usually do my voice practices before I can even talk. You know what I'm saying? My voice is kind of down right now. What else? Israelites. Go over, if you're interested, man, go over YouTube. You see, you know, these guys in the States, all over in the States, preaching the word of God, you know, all over. I'm not talking about Christianity. Christianity is played out as a white man's religion, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, you know, we're not religion. We are nationality. You know, the Hebrew Israelite is scattered all over around the world, you know what I'm saying? You know, God is saying it's time to gather, you know, the nation of Israel together, you know what I'm saying? If you go to that, you know, few, well, about a handful of Israelites and, well, from states that are in Israel as we speak, you know what I'm saying, in a town called Des Moines, you know what I'm saying? They want to claim the land because they realize that they're Israelites, you know. Some of them, in fact, their leader first went to Liberia and then got some you know, Israel out there, and they went together in Israel. So, yeah, so if you're interested, you can go over YouTube and Google go over YouTube and type, you know, Israelites or who are the real Israelites. You'll see a bunch of videos, tons of videos about, you know, from the States, you know, you know what I'm saying? And these guys are talking about how they have realized themselves as Israelites, you know. I'm talking about black and ain't nothing called white Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The only Israelite in the world are black people, and that history has been hidden from us for centuries ago. Centuries. You know what I'm saying? You know, the whole black history has basically been, you know, whitewashed by the white folks. You know what I'm saying? There you have it. We can go as far as, you know, the identity or even the nationality of Christ. Christ or Jesus is not a Hebrew name. His name is Yahushua in Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? The word Jesus is just a pagan god that are being ascribed to to the Son of God. But his Hebrew name is Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? There's not be a so-called Palestinian or a white Caucasian man who is hanging on a cross with blonde eyes and you know, I mean, blonde and blue eyes. No, never. It's all been whitewashed. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Let me conclude. Let me conclude right here. Just came from see, when I get home, I need to tuck it a little bit, and sometimes I don't know what to do. I don't make my video like every day. You know what I'm saying? Because I have it gets dark. It's actually dark right here. It's about time here is about 1:30 in the afternoon. When sun does not shine here very much, especially this time of the year in November. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shadow. So I don't know how this video gonna go. Maybe it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be light, I have no idea. And on top of that, I'm gonna stop now. My English is bad, you know, very, very bad. My English I got very, very bad. I do this to practice, and when I hear myself and listen to myself, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I you know, like sometimes I swallow most of my S's and my T's, and you know, my sentences are not even right. So I'm just practicing, man. I'm gonna stop here.